We're at the very end of Parakeh in Shar B'Tachon, and the Chovos HaLeVovos is going through 7 different contrasts between a person who has B'Tachon versus a person who does not have B'Tachon. And we ended in the middle of the 7th, and the last year, he spoke about the fact that a person who has B'Tachon is never really agitated. There's no tsar. He doesn't feel that anything's lacking from his life. He feels that things are going to, be okay. HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of me now. He can take care of me for 20 years from now. I don't have to start putting things away for a rainy day and, get distracted from my main focus of Avodas Hashem, of doing mitzvos, because the person has the right perspective. And whatever real energy is being expended on eternal investment and not very, very materialistic and passing investments, which you cannot take with you as much as people think they could take it with you. Okay, and therefore there's always a sense of tshuva, there's always a sense of connection and reconnecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we ended with this wonderful pasuk that in Koheles that your clothing should always be white. You should always have this pristine perspective about yourself, and the way you have that is because you've done tshuva on a regular basis. Now we're going to contrast that 7th quality of a person who has bitachon to the person who does not have bitachon. And that's what we're up to, the very last 2 paragraphs, the very end of Parakeh in Shar B'Tachon. And to contrast that, a person who does not have bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he or she is constantly agitated and upset about all of the negative occurrences that keep happening in that person's life. As we mentioned last time, that person has very few people who really love them because there's always anger, resentment, and jealousy about things. So that person has nobody they can really connect to. So the person's complaining, I have nobody who I can love, nobody who loves me. I never seem to reach my goals. I can never reach my aspirations. And the person's always putting things away for a rainy day. So there's always, oh my gosh, I'm never going to have enough. I gotta make more. I gotta put away more. There's always this concern that it's just never going to be sufficient. So think about it. If you're always putting away things for a rainy day, that means you're confident you're going to be alive at that rainy day. You need, what am I going to have when I'm 85? What am I going to have in the bank when I'm 90? So I need to make sure that as I live forever, okay, the money that I attain will be enough to last me till that point. So, because I'm not leaving, I'm going to be around. It's as if that person is living this illusion that I'm not leaving this world. Oh, I am that one person in human history that actually does live forever. There's no trepidation of death because that never occurs to that person that they're going to die. And but they are concerned, obviously, that they're not going to have enough food while they're alive. It's like this person believes that his days will never end. His life will never cease. He does not think about what's going to end, what's going to be at the end of his days. And therefore, there's a constant focus in Olam Hazeh. Constantly, I care about this world, this world, this world. I mean, maybe I said this story months ago, I don't remember, but there are people, as much as you try, they really just cannot, it could be a number of different aspects about what it is that they can't grasp, either that they're not actually going to die, or that they actually think they can take it with them, or they just simply have difficulty parting with money. There's a famous story that Rabbi Schwab from Denver says about this very, very wealthy Gevir who lived in Denver, and he basically, there were 3 main mostos at that time. There was the Beis Yaakov, there's the Beis Medrash, the Denver Yeshiva, and the high school, and then the elementary school. There were 3 mostos, and this fellow who was a multi-millionaire, gave $100 a year to each Mossad. Maybe it was 500. Let's make it 500, which Tim is like a nickel. Okay, so one time this person Rabbi Schwab gets a call in the middle of class, and this fellow calls him, never expected a call from this guy. Make a long story short, he told him that he just got diagnosed with cancer, and he's dying, and just wanted to let him know, maybe whatever, I'm not sure you should pray for him, or so they became friendly over the course of time, and finally, as this person was getting sicker and sicker, finally Rabbi Schwab built up enough strength to say to him, listen, you have a chance of leaving such an incredible legacy. Okay, you have been blessed with tremendous wealth. There are 3 mostos in this city, and you can make such a difference to those mostos and have literally eternity that's going to be working for you with tzedakah that you can give. He says, Rabbi, I'll think about it. And then the last time he saw him, he said, I thought it over and about what you said. And as you leave, and it could be very, very well the last time you'll be seeing me, take there are 3 checks in an envelope. Please take it on your way out. Right by the door. So he took the check, took the envelope, put it in his pocket, left, said goodbye. Never saw the person again. He passed away. He goes into the car. He opens the envelope, looks at the 3 checks. 3 checks for $500. So there are some people just again that maybe is an akuda of not being able to part with it. I don't know exactly, but there are people who just simply they don't get it. They don't get olam haba. They don't get eternity, and they just don't understand what it takes to be able to secure that for yourself. He said,
I was wondering because a lot of people they think that like the opposite, like they're gonna die, so they want to put a mark in the world. Like I want to have a building with my name there, so I want to give all my money to have a building.
So that's good.
It was my name in this, and I still live forever standing here. Like
I think people just feel, I don't know, it just seems more prevalent nowadays. Like they don't have bitachon, they don't have emuna, so they think there's so many toxins, there's so many diseases, there's so much violence, there's so much terrorism, like we're all gonna die.
Well, okay. I mean, all those attitudes they certainly exist. The question is what we do with them. So if a person has that sort of paranoia, maybe that they're going to die. If the person's constantly doing tshuva and mobilizing for avodas Hashem, that's fine. In your case, if the person says, "I want to memorialize my wealth and I want to make it eternal, so I want to build a yeshiva," also wonderful. Now, is it better if he does it anonymously? Fine, but you know what? Most yeshivas will take, or school or institutions will take, a non-anonymous donation as well. But we're talking about that person who unfortunately doesn't get it,
and it's just
holding on to it, right? I can't, right? I'm not gonna, or I just can't follow it. I'm not ready to actually, maybe they don't believe that their soul's going to live forever. I don't know what their problems are, but they just don't see the truth. Their materialistic connections are just blinding them from reality. Okay? So, there is no focus, he says, on one spiritual state. About, how can I fulfill the Torah? And we see so many people, they have a wonderful feeling about Judaism. They're supportive, and they like, mitzvos, and they think it's really nice. But they're not ready to be able to invest in their own lives to do the right thing. There is a disconnect that they're suffering from. And what kind of provisions am I preparing for myself for Olam Haba? And there is only one provision you could prepare, and that is those are mitzvos, ma'asim tovim, and the chesed and tzedakah and the various spiritual things that you can accomplish in this world that you can take with you, because that is exactly what is eternal. And what kind of shape or form is my eternal status going to take hold? Remember, those of us who had the chance to learn Mesil Shalom together, remember, when he talked about, what kind of seats you're going to have at the, in the orchestra seats or bleacher seats, or, you're going to be in the balcony behind some, 8-foot guy in the back. So, it all depends on what we make of this world, what we do in this world. V'bitochen sheisho yarch yamim b'olam hazeh. Okay, and the trust that he has that I'm going to live many years in this world, it causes an ongoing desire to focus on this world. And we see it. We see people who just simply too preoccupied. I'm working, I'm busy, another deal, another this, or even another surgery, another client, another court case, whatever it might be. We get just obsessed with this world and with the materialistic things in front of me. We just read that, causes an ongoing desire for physicality in this world, and it literally saps from that individual the cheshik for spirituality. Very interesting concept that he's saying. It's just very hard, if not impossible, seemingly impossible, to really have a desire for both. You got to sort of pick what you want. And that's why it's so amazing to me when I see parents who, express the disappointment, or even sometimes even worse, it ain't happening. You're not learning anymore. 2 years is enough, 1 year is enough. What kind of business going after? You want to learn more Torah, you want to devote your life to Torah, it's not going to pay the bills, it's not going to happen, I'll never support you, and they are ready to sort of literally cut off that kind of support for spiritual attainment, because they see the focus purely on materialism. And that's what really counts. And it's just so sad, because you can't have it both. And if you have a child that has that yearning for spiritual growth, how do you just sort of, just put an end to it? How do you sort of say, over my dead body, you're going to learn another year? And I've heard people say that. I've heard parents who live, and it's hard. I mean, again, I know they're well-intentioned. They mean well. Because I don't want my kid to be poor and to be. I mean, it's not your choice to whether. There are people who make a choice in this world, and they're ready to not focus on materialism, and they're willing to live, very simply for the deeper satisfaction of a spiritually connected life. What is so bad about that? Why do we all have to have all this money? That leads us to what? But that's.
I find it difficult sometimes when I'm teaching my kids. Go to Rav Susha and all the stories, all these poor people from the shtetl and here and there. And then my kids see the God of the Torah, and they see all the lay and all the people, that happily they have, and they think those stories are just stories, just book stories. Well,
when they get older, they're going to have to realize that you do have to make a decision. At the end of the day, you sometimes you can have it both, but it's rare. There are places where there's Torah Gedul Makam Echad, where rare people have that ability to attain spiritual, heights, and at the same time be blessed with wealth. But that's not the standard. That's not the standard. You have to be willing to give up, and that's what the Pirkei Avos says. And so again, everything is relative. The Pirkei Avos says, Pasa melach tochal. If you really want to acquire Torah, be happy to have some bread and some salt and sleep on the floor. And that's maybe rare. That's from Chaim Kanievsky. And that's special gedolim who literally completely eschew all types of materialistic attainment. So, and there are many people on that sliding scale of different attitudes, and it's sad sometimes to see, again, it's a whole other discussion that, people in Kollel that think that, that's not only can I have it all, but they almost demand it all. That I want to live a Kollel life, and I want to be a Kollel person, but I want all this support and all this materialism, and I want, fancy apartment. That's another discussion. But essentially, we know that the world of spirituality and the world of materialism, they really don't go hand in hand. And there's, we should be admiring the people who are willing to give up to attain spirituality. That's really the ultimate goal. There's nothing. Not only is there nothing wrong with it, that's really the ultimate purpose. He says, and the focus on materialism takes away the cheshik, the desire, the inclination to focus on eternity. And when you rebuke this person, and you teach this person, you say to this person, how long are you going to ignore the absolute essential quality of life and the essential point of life. How long are you going to keep not? How long are you going to delay taking true provisions for yourself for the next world? When are you going to start worrying about what you're truly going to take with you? Because your bank account ain't going with you, and your stocks are not going with you, and your homes and your home in on the Mediterranean is not going with you. So when are you going to actually start working on things that will go with you? Okay, the eternal things that you can actually be proud of, and are going to be accompanying you up to Shemayim, the matzav makom l'chasa, and the status of the place of your ultimate rest. Also, when you confront these people with that reality, what are you doing? How blind are you to what really counts in this world? You know what they answer you? And I'm sure we've met these people along the way. I can imagine some people who would give this answer. You want to know what I'm going to start focusing on spirituality? I'll tell you when. Ad shili dai panasasi v'tzarchasi. When I have enough parnas and enough money to make me feel comfortable, that's when I'll turn to spirituality. That's when I'll join the kollel. That's when I'll move to Eretz Yisrael, when I have enough. Okay? Avari, how much do I need? Avari, I need for myself. Avari ishti banai, I need for my wife and my kids. Ad soif yimenu, till the end of all of our days. We'll probably throw in grandchildren too, and until we're all set forever. As long as we live, that's when I'm going to stop. Then, when I get to that level, that's when I will, move to the kollel. He says, then I will have the freedom, the peace of mind to remove myself from the worries of this world. Then I'll start paying back God what I owe him. I owe God a lot. He's been very nice to me. I have 72 million in the bank. I calculate I need 275 million, so I have a little bit of way to go. But when I get there, when I get to 275 million, I will start doing my mitzvahs. I'll be a good boy. Okay, that's when I'll pay back God. And that's when I will start preparing myself for the next world. When I'm comfortable. When I know that I'm set, when I have everything put away for a rainy day, there are no surprises. Okay, I'm ready for the stock market going up or going down. I'm ready for gold going up or down. I've got myself fully covered. I've got my estate planner all worked out, and now we're good. So when that happens, that's when I'll turn to spirituality. So this person's a fool. This person is an absolute fool, and he's now going to, in Perek Vav, address this mentality. Because really what you're saying is, God, before I start paying you, before I start working on your behalf and for you, I need a mashko. I need a collateral. Okay? There are people, let's say, when you lend somebody money and you don't trust them, you say, fine, but I need a collateral. Let me have your diamond ring in the meantime till you pay me back. Or let me have the, whatever, that fancy Monet on your wall, and when you pay me back, I'll give you back the money. So you're taking a mashko. So in a sense, when we say to God, I will pay you back, I'll start working for you, okay, when you give me enough to make me feel comfortable that I've got what it takes, we're essentially taking a mashka from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now he's going to debunk this and really lace into this mentality. And that's what he does in Perek Vav. And the amazing thing with Perek Vav, it's the last Perek in Shabbat Tachon. Where is it? Okay, is that a Vav or a Zion? Okay, maybe it's I'm sorry. We got one more Perek after Perek Zion. Okay, so we're getting close. So in Perek Vav, he's now going to talk to this fellow or this lady and basically lambaste him and try to blast him into reality. And then let's see what he says. I now find it incumbent upon me, and the proper thing to do, to display the foolishness, the absolute mistake, the total fallacy of this perspective. I'm going to ask 7 questions. Okay, and number 7 seems to be a number he likes. 7 ways I'm going to debunk and to attack this perspective. Shayodam agal is goydel to some, and through these 7 attacks, I'm going to uncover and reveal the extent of the mistake that these people are making. Vesezos, and I'm going to do this. Granted, I have to add a few pages into the sefer, and therefore will cost me a little bit more on the printing press, and it'll be a little bit longer, so I have to be a little bit more verbose. However, but the reason why I feel compelled to do it, because I think with these words, one has a power to embarrass, which I don't think his goal is to embarrass per se. His goal is to shame someone into reality. Obviously, he's not talking publicly about Mr. or Mrs. X. What he's saying is, if I have a powerful enough argument, maybe I'll shame you into the reality of seeing how foolish you are. Shahad Yurgasam Hanachaynihi, okay, where the proper way of sort of encapsulating what these people are is Kat Hamamashkinas Hashem. These are the group of people. The way I'm delineating what they're doing is they're taking this is a group of people that take collaterals from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They demand a mashkot from Hashem. That's who these people are, as amazing as that sounds. Why? Well, what does that mean, to taking a mashkot from Hashem? They're really acting like a certain merchant. That I sell you something that I don't trust that you're going to pay me, and you want an item from me, and I'd like to sell to you, but I don't know that I'm going to get the money from you. You don't have the money to give me right away. So what do I do if I don't trust you? Are you going to give it to me? I simply say, fine, I'll sell you the item, but give me collateral to make sure I'm going to be able to collect. I'm nervous you're not going to pay me. So it sounds crazy, but this is really what we're saying about to God. God, I'm nervous you're not going to pay me later, so I need the money now to guarantee that I have it, and now that I have it, and when I have it, that's when I'll do my mitzvahs. It's absurd. But really, when you think about it, that's really what people are saying. People just don't stop. They're non-stop workaholics, and they keep wanting to amass more and more wealth. Either because they have no trust in that person, either I don't trust you, or because I'm afraid. I trust you, you're a nice guy, but I know how tough it is for you to have money, and therefore I can't sell you this simply by assuming you're going to have the money to pay. I know if you had it, you'd pay me, but I don't know that you're going to have it. You always seem to be running on bad luck. So you know what? I can't give it to you until I get a collateral. So that same mentality that exists with business people dealing with people who have cash flow issues. It's the same thing. The people with this hashkafa, with this perspective, these people will not embark on that spiritual journey to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu until they get a collateral from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, their panasa, the panasa of their family, for as long as they live. And especially since these people don't think they're going to die so fast. So that's a lot of money. Because I don't know how long I'm going to live, and therefore, God, I need to get it first.
And if this applies to the miser, that's what you're talking about? Like people who should be at least giving the 10% and they're not even giving that? Or
this is deeper than that. This is beyond that. That's bad, but these are people who are just simply, their essence is money. Their essence is materialism. So they might go through the minimal motions of serving God, but at their core, they have no time to learn, no time to really do chesed. They have no time to really do anything other than the next deal. And again, it could be business, but there are people who are just they're addicted to their medical practice. They're addicted to their lawyer, to their lawyer.
to the extent of not even like breaking Shabbos and stuff like that, like.
So, obviously it could extend. It could extend, but even if it doesn't extend to, let's not go that far. There are people who, again, they would certainly be classified as Orthodox Jews. But if you ask them, what is your whole focus of your life? My focus of my life is work. My focus is the next deal, or the next. Now again, you could argue if a person's doing heart surgery, So again, is it? Yeah, it's an honest question. People will be, have to be honest with themselves. Is a surgery what I love using my hands to, to save a person. Okay, it's a wonderful thing to be able to save a person. But is it really the chesed that I'm doing, as opposed to as rooted in a mitzvah to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with chesed, or is it I love the challenge of a difficult surgery and I love using my hands? Maybe similar to a pianist who loves a concerto and loves performing at the Philharmonic. It's not. His main goal maybe isn't to make people feel good, even though that's a byproduct. His goal is to basically, stand up and perform. Anyway, so that's really what we're talking about. It's a question of really what your core essence is and what you're focused on. Okay, so let's continue. Right. So basically now he's going to attack this mentality. The mentality is, I'm prepared to start thinking about spirituality, but I first have to take care of my physical well-being and my families for as long as we live. Okay, so here are the 7 questions that he's going to ask, and we're certainly not going to be able to get through all 7, but we'll get started. The first question I have for that person who associates philosophically with that approach, and I'm sure we know these people. They're always involved, always on the phone, and next business deal, and we know the song, right? What's the song? The famous song with the kid, the son who wants to talk to the father, and he's always so busy. A secular song, Cats in the Cradle, right? So that whole idea that there's never time. There's never time to. I'm allowed to say that. I know that song. Okay.
I'm just like, I grew up during that time, and I didn't get it that that's what the song was about.
Well, but eventually you did. Eventually, no, you never got that.
I never listened to it.
We never. Okay.
The words per se.
Oh my God.
Powerful. Yeah.
Okay, I have to.
What?
Google it when I get home.
It's a Jewish version.
Yeah. No, you don't need the Jewish version. Even the regular version is very powerful about the father.
It's Harry's favorite. You have to hear it.
Yeah, it's a powerful song. It's basically it's about a father who never has time to develop a relationship with his son. And
I'll bring it to you. Oh, you have it. I didn't know this was a Jewish version.
I didn't either. Anyway, okay. Let's see here. Shenem Aloi. Okay, so the first question that I have for these people, okay, Shenem Aloi, I'd like to say to them, Atoish, I guess in those days it was the men who were the ones working all day on materialism. He says, my dear friend, he says, Mr. Whatever. You clearly don't have a very clear conviction, and I guess at best you're doubtful whether or not the world runs based on God's decrees. Because clearly your actions show that you have no trust that God runs the world. So you're trying to save way for a rainy day because you don't know if God provides us, for that rainy day. You do not seem to believe in God's completely unlimited power because you are insecure about what God can do for you at a later point. Clearly, the light of your intellect has become somewhat dimmed. And the light of your understanding is not happening. Okay, and is getting diminished. Because the darkness of your taiva he's waxing very poetic here. The darkness of your passions have overcome you. Okay, it's only fitting for you to take a mashkon from your friend or your neighbor. Because you're not under his auspices. And his commands don't obligate you to do anything. So it makes sense. We're not bound to one another. You're asking me to sell you something, and now, even though I know you and you're my friend, but I can't afford to give you something if I'm not sure I'm going to get payback. That's where a mashkon makes sense. But somebody who rents himself out as a worker for somebody else. Could you imagine somebody, you hire somebody to come in to clean your house for a day and say, "I'm not sure you're going to pay me, so I need to take a collateral before I even do a stitch of work to make sure." It doesn't work that way. If you're working for somebody, put in the work, then you have a right to ask for the money. You don't have a right to take a collateral before it happens. The koshken sheinocham mitzad eved lekachas mashkom me'adonov od ufnei shizchol avroso. And certainly a slave, okay, who is sold as a slave, okay, when you're bought as a slave, the acquisition gives your service to me. That's the way the deal works. You sold yourself, you needed the money, you sold yourself as a slave, but what? The slave is now going to say, I'm not going to work for you until, what? You give me a collateral that I know you're going to pay me later? That's ridiculous. Wouldn't in any way, make any sense. The okay, and certainly it would make no sense to the one created, okay, to take a mashkom from the creator before I do my work. My job is to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he says, so let's continue, and he'll speak it out a little bit more. I'm completely overwhelmed and shocked by this perspective. Okay, because if the work of a servant to a master, okay, because if a person would make even a condition that I want you to pay me for my work after I do the work, if a person was a slave, that's a shame to the Eved. Okay, the fact that I even ask you, because again, as it explains on the bottom, in the mentality in the Torah's world of a Jewish slave, when a Jewish slave becomes a slave, he's selling himself for X amount of money up front, or whatever, he gets sold by somebody else who owned him, whatever, different cases. But the point is that the money that I use automatically indentures you to me and commits you to do the service to me. So for me to ask for any compensation would be considered ridiculous. And it would be even shameful for me to even say so. Okay, as Kamosh Omru Chachamenu Zal, as the Mishnah tells us, the Mishnah of us, Altiu Kavodim Hamishamshim Nesarav Nasa Kalapraz. Don't be like those servants who serve the master with the intention of getting a reward. Okay, right? You have to really serve without the intention of getting a reward. Imkain, if that's the case, Mikolshkin She'eved Lo Yois Panov Lavakish Mashkna Panasoso Od of Nations Chubavaraso. If I wouldn't even ask for pay or money after my work, I certainly wouldn't have the chutzpah to ask for money before I even do the work. Ukedom lezeh his batei pasuk, and similar the pasuk articulates halashem tign luzos. Okay, is this what you do to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Am navov lo chacham, the novel nation, the nation that has acted inappropriately, who's not acting in a wise fashion. Halahu avicha kanecha. He is your father. He owns you. He made you v'chanecha, and he established you. So how in the world are you making deals with God? We have no position to make a deal. So it makes no sense for us to be completely committed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are completely His servants. We owe Him everything. He's told us what to do, and now we're going to say, wait a minute, we're going to hold off. I mean, we have to really establish and understand that we are His slaves. We are His servants. Okay, and that's really what maybe slave is servant is a better word than slave. We have conjures up different thoughts in our mind, but we're certainly servants to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we don't have the freedom, okay, to just simply do what we want. So what kind of logic is it to say, I'll get down to my obligation when I get enough money from you to make me feel comfortable to work? It just not logical. Okay, that's question number one. What?
So the question, if I was going to write the question down, the question is, how can a person ask work for collateral?
Right, correct. In other words, how do we wait to only work when we get paid? Because it's really what we're doing, what the person is saying is, I will get to spirituality eventually, just not yet. I first have to make sure I've gotten enough money in the bank, which basically what we're saying to God, when you give me enough, of the materialistic world, that's when I will start focusing my service to you. And that doesn't make any sense. You don't do that to your master. You know,
Being
What?
devil's advocate.
Sure.
Like, if a person really has that in their flesh and in their mind, is there anybody that really reaches that? I mean, because
Reaches
Hashem
what?
could hold it back.
okay, but the
Because
person
he
who's
doesn't have in mind
well,
what the person is thinking is in terms of quantities of money, I guess.
well, I
I
mean,
guess Hashem knows everything.
yeah, well, but he basically saying at the beginning that clearly you don't really trust how Kodesh Baruch Hu runs everything. You clearly view this world as a chance type of world, where basically Kodesh Baruch Hu maybe made the world, but then he's done with it, and he's not controlling and does not get involved with every detail of our lives. And that's a fallacy in its own right, but that's the basis for your belief. But even if you believe that way, what you're really saying doesn't make any sense, because how could you first demand from the one who created you compensation for work you haven't even done yet? That's the basic point. How do you expect the mashkon if you haven't even begun your work yet? You can't do that. You can't ask for something before you have your responsibility done first. You're the servant. You're not the big shot to be able to sort of stick it out and wait and say, I'm waiting for you to pay me first.
So what's that, like, fine line? I mean, we do have to make our understanding to have retirement when we retire, but as Rabbi Stulberger was saying, once we have a kind of a general something, then don't spend your time just trying to get a bunch of money
Well-
that you don't need, just
Well, there's a lot of people that were saying like, oh, what was it? It wasn't Bill Gates, I think it was the other rich man in the world that is saying like, I'm not giving anything because I'm successful in what I'm doing. I'm the best, I'm the richest man in the world. I'm just got as much as possible. And then so when I die, I have 10 times more of what I had.
Yeah, well,
He gives it all
There are
away.
also
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
the
of-
end.
There are also a lot of very wealthy men, including Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, who are giving tremendous
Oh, yeah.
amounts of money out there. So, yeah, they're still earning it, and yes, they live very comfortably. And they're also looking to make medical improvements and lifestyle improvements for people out of poverty. So I think, though we think of it from a different perspective, because we think of it from a Torah perspective, and, you know, we're supposed to be learning all the time, and we also need to provide for our basic needs, not to, you know, just
Indulge.
depend on, it's,
Well, right. I mean, I get, but really his point. I mean, I guess there's a lot of different, ways of looking at different situations. But the core is, what's your priority? And even if a person needs to work, right? Just getting back to your point, even if a person needs to work, the person doesn't. Even when they work, they're not really working. That's what we right. As this is really what I'm going to do in order to get my money. I need to do this to do the Ratzon Hashem, to put in shtadlus for Kodesh Baruch Hu to give me what I need. But it's all coming from Kodesh Baruch Hu, and my entire essence is about my relationship with Hashem and doing the right thing. So even when you're working, you're never leaving that core value that it's about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I'm just doing what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do. He doesn't want me to sit home and not put in the effort to support my family. But essentially, it's all part of an overarching life commitment to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do. And he's sort of attacking the other side of this philosophy. The other side is, I don't have time for that, because right now I've got to make sure I've got enough money in the bank. So, again, there are many different types of people. Some will learn all day, some will learn part of the day, some will learn very little because they're involved with all these chasadim.
Some
But
support others to learn.
right, so but all those could all be beautiful if they're all following the essential aspect of I'm doing the Ratzon Hashem, and that's really what counts.
it all comes down to intention.
Exactly, and right, and perspective. Okay, you got a question? Oh,
No?
yeah.
No, I was going to say, like you said, I don't think he's talking about like a financially responsible person who's also involved in real estate also.
Right. Okay, we have time for just quickly one Yeah, so this is a short one. Pirch Hashni, the second question I have, and we'll end with this, and we'll leave ourselves with 5 more for next time. Anybody who asks a friend for collateral before they sell them something, well, I'm going to ask you for unlimited funds as a mashkon. Doesn't make sense. A mashkon has to have its definitive value. $100, $1,000, $10,000. I need a collateral of X amount of money to cover what I'm selling you. Behetem l'go de lachov, commensurate to the size of the obligation. But this person with this hashkafa, with this perspective, there's no end. You want the collateral to be unlimited. It's like that shidduch, that horrible shidduch story I once said about the chosh of a guy who basically answered back to the family, an LA family wanted to make a shidduch with this person. He says, "We'll entertain the shidduch, but the father of the girl needs to know that the boy needs unlimited funds for unlimited time." Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was an exact quote, and listen, yeah. Rabbi Byron told me the story. It happened with him, with his daughter. So, yeah, exactly. So the point is, and this was a so-called chashiva guy in some yeshiva. Was but nebuch. Okay, that's what happens. So when you what?
So long money back.
Yeah. So the point is that how do you make an unlimited mashka? So I'll say you that, but first give me. What? Infinity amount of money? It's ridiculous. Because he does not know how much money he actually needs to feed his family. Okay? To feed himself and for his family till he dies. He doesn't know. So he keeps basically, no, it's not enough. More. You're starting the mashkon without a fair deal. You're not giving me an amount. Even if you have many times over what you really need, he's not going to be happy. Since I don't know how long I'm going to live, and the length of his days is not known to him, so it's not enough. I don't know if I live till 95. I live till 80, it's enough. But if I live till 95, I'm going to be broke. And once that's the case, who also it says foolishness. That I want from God this amount of security. What you're asking really has no boundary, has no end. You'll never reach it. So what kind of foolish request is it to first give me enough money forever? It's not even. The deal doesn't even make sense because you're not even quantifying in a logical way how much you want, and therefore you're basically saying, I'm never going to get there, which means you'll never accomplish your goal. Okay, so this is 2 refutations, and Bez Hashem 5 more are coming. Okay.